Welcome once again to Bible Basics for New Believers. My name is Ray. We've completed our first series through the Bible, both the Old Testament and the New Testament. I know I'm not the most eloquent of speakers, but the material I have given you is very good. That information will carry you very well through your lifetime of reading the Bible. You will definitely have a better understanding and confidence in reading the Bible by using that material than not. There was a suggestion that I give you some more resources, and we're going to do that right now. The first resource we'll be looking at is an outline of Old Testament history by Charles Pfeiffer. Unfortunately, this book is out of print, but there are a number of places where you can find used copies of this pretty readily available. This is not the most comprehensive Old Testament history book, but for a new believer, this is a great balance of material that will allow you to understand the flow of the history of the Old Testament. I highly recommend it, and I would suggest you get your hands on one before all the used copies go out. Second book we want to look at is Max Sanders' 30 Days to Understanding the Bible. It's still in print. It's available on Kindle, and you can actually get this on a DVD if you want. Very good book in just getting a basic outline of the Bible. This not only looks through the things that we've looked at in our series, but goes into other areas about geography, goes into areas about doctrine, and so you get a little bit more of a rounded view of a lot of different areas in the Bible. It's set up in such a way that there are just like little lessons. It gives you a lesson, it's like a workbook, and at the end of the lesson it has several questions. And then you keep on going through this, and in 30 days, there's 30 lessons, you're through with it. Very easy to read, very easy to understand, and when you finish with it, you will have a pretty good rounded look at what the Bible is about and some of the more major doctrines of the Bible. The next books I'm going to talk to you about are for you once you've read through the Bible a few times, once, twice, maybe 3 times. Just like I told you, don't use a study Bible to start with. These books are a little bit more advanced. They're written by an author that actually wrote and lived in the late 1800s. And these are very classic Christian books. They're by Alfred Edersheim. Again, he lived in the late 1800s. He was a Jewish scholar who converted to Christianity. And his books are very good. The first one we will look at is, you can see I beat this one up a little bit, but it's about Old Testament history. Let me take the cover off, since I use this book a lot. Bible History of the Old Testament by Alfred Edersheim. This, as we talked in our earliest videos, the reason we have a hard time understanding the Bible is that it's not written like a novel or not written in chronological, logical order. Well, this is. This takes all that Bible material, writes it in a form that we're used to, and not only that, because of his Jewish background, he is able to give you a lot of insight on how things were actually going on in the Old Testament. Highly recommended. Even though it was written way back in the late 1800s, it reads fairly well. You don't have that old-timey type English. You have fairly consistent English with what we read now. So you won't find it to be a hard read either. The second book I would recommend by Edersheim is this New Testament book called The Life and Times of Jesus the Messiah. And he takes his Jewish background again, and he is able to give you great insight into the life of Jesus and how it all fits together with the Jewish culture of the day. It is another book that's in chronological order, so when you pick this up, you read it just like you would a novel, from beginning to end, putting all the events in chronological order. And very helpful. These two books are not for those who have just read through the Bible one time, but if you've read a couple of times and you want greater depth and you want greater understanding of what was going on actually in the life of Jesus and in the Old Testament history, these two are unparalleled, and I would highly recommend them also. The third recommendation I am going to have is actually a video series, and I will provide a link for that below. It's from R.C. Sproul. R.C. Sproul has recently passed away, but he was a pastor and a Bible teacher, actually a very renowned Bible teacher. And he has a series of videos that will take you all the way from Genesis to Revelation, and it's called From Dust to Glory. On the website, you can actually watch this for free, or you can order DVDs if you want to watch it on a DVD player. Even though you can watch the videos for free, there is a place on the website to make a donation. If you feel led to giving, I would highly suggest doing that. Finally, in this video, I want to let you know we will do a second series of videos, which I had mentioned before. And I don't want to give you the idea that the first series is not adequate, but this is to be able to go deeper into some of the materials that are a little more complicated in the Bible. So in this second series, we're going to look at things we've actually already looked at in the first series, and just again go a little bit more in depth. The areas we will be covering in this second series of videos will be, first, the divided kingdom area, and then we will move on to the prophetic books. A recent survey has shown that Christians who read their Bible avoid that section the most because it feels so complicated and hard to understand. So it'd be good to give a little bit more information to help you find a way to understand those books a little bit more. Third thing we will look at in this series is the parables. The parables of Jesus that occur in the New Testament are often misquoted and misinterpreted. I will give you the basic information you need to be able to understand what is a parable and how to look at it and interpret it. And finally, something that was always troublesome to me as a new believer, and I find that's the case with many believers, is understanding how the law and grace interact with one another. We oftentimes have a sense of the law being the Old Testament and grace the New, and the law being bad and grace being good. Well, that's true to a certain extent, but there is some fallacy in that thinking also, and I want to show you how to balance your thinking on how the law and grace work together. Again, I would suggest that you subscribe so that you don't miss any of these videos, and until then, God bless.